What is up, y'all? It's your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back. I just want to do a quick video before I head off to work. Yes, the air conditioning is on. Yes, the fan above the stove is on. Am I getting up to shut them off? No. Accept the lack of production value and we can get along, okay? Prey, the new Predator movie. I had a chance to watch it last night. I know it's a day short, but guess what? I work a real job. I'm not under any fantasy of turning this into any kind of career. So therefore, I'm not sitting unemployed at home with my finger on the button, pause, on every streaming service, waiting for things to drop so I can hurry up and be the first to post a review. We don't do that here, okay? We work real jobs. So, Prey, the new Predator movie. Off top, it was okay, and off top, and I wish I was on top, is Amber Midhunter. I've been a fan of her since Legion. They can put all the crap on her face. They can put her in a dumpy deerskin dress, whatever. It don't matter. I'd still put my face in it. But one of the main problems with the movie when it starts, number one, and I took a couple notes. Yes, believe it, I went to public school and I can kind of write, so I took notes. Number one, it takes way too long, and I think that Grace Randolph has brought this up with her screeching voice, just because when I was driving to work yesterday, it popped up on my recommended, her review of this, so I decided to play it. And just go to her review for Prey. It just starts with immediately her just, it sounds like a raptor being caught in a bear trap screaming. I don't know how she got to where she got. I mean, God bless her. She's probably making a very good living doing what she's doing, but I feel that way about like 98, 99% of YouTubers. And other social media people, I'm just confused that there's that many lame people and clueless corporations to get behind these lames. I just don't know. But in her review, she brought up that it takes a long time to get into action, so I was prepared for it. Had I not been that prepared for the lack of action, or if anything happening for a long time in that movie, I would probably give it a way worse review. But, that screeching banshee kind of gave me the heads up on it. Also, can Grace Randolph get some friends that can teach her about how to put her makeup on, or fashion, or anything like that? She looks like Heath Ledger putting on the Joker makeup. It is terrible. Grace, get it together. Seriously, you got enough money to go get a makeover, a stylist, whatever, or just have some leech friends that actually have some kind of fashion sense hang out with you. Just pick up the bill for everything. They'll hang out with you. They'll put you on game. But yeah, it takes way, way, way too long. It takes about, you get little nuggets of things here and there, but until you get to actual action and the story gets fully into what it's supposed to be, I'm talking a good half hour. I'm not lying. So, did not like that aspect. I've never liked that about movies. The only movie that I've liked that about is the Joker, but it was the whole build up before any kind, because I didn't even go into now I'm sidetracking, but a lot of people that I talked to were kind of disappointed that the Joker didn't have more action. It wasn't about that. So a movie like that, because the whole character development for somebody like the Joker, that is the action to me. Pause, that sounded kind of iffy, but any other movie, nah, get to the point. Start the movie off with an action scene, maybe like a prequel scene, or you know what I'm saying, something just to immediately get your audience, if you're going to have them sit for half an hour, 20 plus minutes, whatever it is, before you get back to the to the meat of it. Pause. Give them something. Don't just have people sitting there. But I was fully warned, so I'm already rambling. This is lovely. Nuru, I think, is the main character's name, Amber Midhunter's character, but her brother, I'm hearing all this praise about how good, the guy that plays her brother. Not only does Amber Midhunter, but her brother, everybody in this plays it as if they're people living in modern times and they're just playing Halloween dress up. Just the way, just their whole speech patterns, the way, just like physical tics, things like, it's hard to explain, but when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. They do not feel like people in the 1700s. Let's see, what else? All right. Okay. There's another, and these are just like nitpicky things, but it's just things that take you out of a movie, especially if you're a movie head. So there's a part after Amber Midhunter, she's trapped in some quicksand, and she gets herself out, and her weapons and everything, bow and arrow and everything, it's all muddy, and she's just dipping it in the river to clean it off. But she's just, it's like she's doing it in a weird way. Number one, there's no mud on anything, and she's just gently dipping, and they have a close up of it, which is confusing because if you know anything about film, nothing is in there by accident. There might be weird things in the background, somebody tripping and falling over something that they didn't catch or whatever. But as far as if it's a close-up of something, that's edited in there for a purpose. So I'm trying to figure out if there was some kind of weird carvings on it. This is as I'm watching it. I'm like, why are they zooming up and, having a close-up on this, her cleaning this hatchet when there's nothing to clean on it? And she wasn't even rubbing the hatchet. Pause, but that would be hot. Midhunter rubbing a hatchet. But it's just a weird nothing scene, and it's just things like that just take you out. You're like, why are you dipping your hatchet in the river to clean it off, and there's nothing to clean off, and you're not even rubbing it off? It was just weird things, and there was a couple things like that just took me out of it. Okay, and then so Amber Midhunter, she's off trying to hunt the predator because she thinks it's some kind of mystical beast that they've talked about in their culture, whatever. So her brother and her family sends a bunch of other young dudes to go get her and bring her back because she's being hard-headed. She wants to be a hunter. So of course when they try to bring her back, she's like, no, get off me, and she starts beating these dudes up. And it's like, do people that make these movies, do they not understand about like bone density, muscle mass, weight discrepancies, things like that? Because they'll have a woman just throw a guy around and do all this stuff. And it's just, as bad as you want that to be true, physics and reality won't allow that. So next time, I wish these things, have her, cheat in a fight. And I'm talking about just women beating up guys in movies. Have them cheat or something, make it a little bit more realistic. Because it's straight up hand-to-hand combat, especially against somebody who's been trained in it. Not the Indians are like trained, but they have to know how, especially in that era, they had to know how to, defend and take care of themselves. So they're not going to be just some pushover that some 110-pound woman is going to be thrown around and stuff. It ain't going to happen. But when you see the scene, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just one of those, you're going to roll your eyes because there's also a scene earlier on that I totally forgot about where her Amber Midhunter's mom is after. She's like, why do you want to be a hunter? Why don't you want to stay here like with the other women and make food and all that? And she's like, why do you want to be a hunter? And she's like, because you guys think I can't. And that immediately took me back to that terrible, terrible Captain Marvel movie where they had that little montage of her and it showed her like training in the army, and like it was so hack. It was like guys going up to her like, you're a girl, you can't do this. It was just, it's not. Keep in mind though, I like this movie, especially from where the Predator franchise has been. I like this movie, but these are just things that just I wish with maybe like a fan edit or something they would cut these things out. Where are we at? Stop use. Okay, so right after the fight where she's fighting the young guys, they use the Wilhelm scream, which if you know anything about movies, you're a movie head, you'll know what that is. Stop using it. Stop using the Wilhelm scream or Wilhelm yell or whatever you want to call it. Stop using that, because when you hear that, it immediately takes you out, because number one, you've heard this before. So you're like, what? Oh, that thing? And then number two, you know what it is. If you've done even the most minor of research, not even researching that, they have those like did you know type of things that'll pop up on the YouTube shorts and just things like that. And it's just been a part of movie trivia just for years and years and years, the whole thing about the Wilhelm scream. Just stop putting it into movies. It is distracting. It takes you out of that moment. It's like you're just hitting pause for 5 seconds every time I hear that in a movie. So there's a scene where Amber Midhunter, she gets caught by these French fur trappers, and they gumbutt her. she wakes up in a little cage or whatever, in their camp and everything, and she's fine. And every time I see something like this, I don't want a movie to turn into some brutal whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But come on, a bunch of fur trappers deep in the woods, they run across. And not to say that me or anybody I know would do anything like that, but I'm just saying probably for that era, they're not just going to be gentle with her. They're not just going to, while she's unconscious, not violate her, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So they need to start, don't make this realistic, just don't have things like that in the movie, because anybody with a thinking brain is going to be like, nah, they're going to strip her down, they're going to do all kinds of stuff. They're not going to be nice or even remotely decent to her. But she wakes up in the cage, she's fully clothed, she's obviously hasn't been abused. You know what I'm saying? That just knowing how terrible the world is and how terrible, and how cheap life used to be, especially in those times. No, they would have had their way with her. The skull mask for the Predator looks extremely dumb. It looks stupid. I don't know. In all the other Predator masks, you can see where the eye, not eye holes, but the lenses for the mask where they could see out. It's how is this Predator supposed to see? Is he just strictly going off of heat vision, whatever? But I always assumed that those were, the heat vision component in the mask was in the lens of the eye of the mask. What is going on with this mask? And it just looks terrible. It looks awkward every single time they show the Predator's face or whatever. You're kind of like squinting and moving your head around because you want to get a good view of it. You're like, what is going on here? What kind of skull is this? Is this an alien skull? Is this a skull of some long extinct animal? I don't know. I don't like the design at all. But on the flip side, I do like the design of the Predator as far as him being smaller, being a little bit more agile. Because if you know the actor that plays the Predator, I think in this Prey movie is like 6'6", something like that. Before, you had guys pushing like 7 foot, and they could barely run or do anything as is. But then you put that costume and you mess with their vision, you'll look in the older movies, they do not move that well. But in this, it's a smaller Predator, which I like, but he's still bigger than her. Still looks like a threat. I like the design. I like that he is leaner, and moves faster and everything. I think that adds to, the Predator being more deadly, being a better hunter, just being more of a force. It reminds me of the Hulk after they did the Eric Bana Hulk and then they did the Edward Norton Hulk. How they changed up the design. They made the Hulk a little slimmer, but he moved faster. He seemed just more vicious that way, and that's kind of how I looked at this Predator. How they did this design. The face, I don't know if his face without the mask. I'm talking about the Predator. I don't know if they just didn't have enough money in the CGI budget, because there was a few iffy CGI moments in there. There's a part where the Predator is invisible and he comes out of the water and he steps in the mud, and when he lifts his foot up, the footprint kind of fills up with water in the mud. You'll see, what I'm talking about. It doesn't look good. I don't know why they would focus on that, if they knew the CGI wasn't up to snuff. But that's kind of how I feel about the face design without the mask. It just looked blurry. It wasn't crisp. It didn't have a really, defined look to it, if that makes any sense. And also, I want an explanation of why that Predator looks different from other Predators. We've seen different, like Berserker Predators, things like that. But they all kind of have the same similar face and everything. This one just looked completely different. So I'd like to know what's going on, if this is just like, an anomaly Predator. Maybe he was born with a defect, whatever. Is this a whole nother race? Is this... what's going on with this Predator? And I'm sure some nerd is going to be like, oh, well, back in the Dark Horse comics in 94. I don't care. Shut up. Shut your face. Move out your mom's basement. But I mean, overall, I liked the movie. I liked where, the direction where it's going, a more serious tone. Oh wait, no, and I want to go back. Well, I guess I could have saved this. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I like the whole serious tone. But anyways, what I was gonna say is, it really is time to have something involving Yacha Prime, the Predator's planet, because that's the most interesting thing to me, and it's always been ever since Predator 2, has been just wanting to know about their society, wanting to know just everything. And I'm tired of this where we gotta have humans in it so that people can relate. No, we're beyond that. Give us a Transformer movie where it's set on Cybertron with the war without humans. Give us a Predator movie set on their home planet and show us. I mean, you can have to where maybe like some Planet of the Apes stuff to where some astronauts get lost in space, they land on the planet, whatever. But the whole point is have it on their planet. Show us more of what their society is like, of, what I'm saying, what the cities look like. Because even with the little scene from Alien vs. Predator where it just shows, the Predator ship leaving the city and everything, I'm pausing that. But I'm pausing that, and I'm looking and I'm seeing pyramids in the background. I'm seeing all this stuff, and knowing that the Predator franchise is mixed in with the Alien franchise, and that franchise is mixed in with the Blade Runner franchise, I'm just thinking of all the cool Easter eggs and possibilities. With Blade Runner, we're never going to get a Predator in there because I think they want to keep that kind of classy. But, and I know Ridley Scott and a lot of people there do not like the addition of bringing a Predator into that universe, but it's, for fans that are into that to, join universes and all that and geek out over all that, that's what I want to see. I want to see the Predator's way of life. I want to see just everything, the whole social structure of their world. That's what I want to see, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Let's see, Prey, 0 to 10 dog bones. I'm never gonna watch it again, so let me add that in with my rating. I'm never gonna watch it again. 5. I give it a 5. That's a good 5 though. It's not a bad 5. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. But again, had I not known that it was going to take that long to get to the action, and had I not known a lot about a lot of the stuff that I didn't like beforehand, it would have been a lot worse. All right, done for the rambling. This is your boy Winston Wolf. I'm out.